Well, hello, and a very, very good, I think we're Sunday morning, aren't we, Darren?
Yeah.
Sunday morning. We had quite a party here at Camelot Castle last night, but today we are joined by somebody who is a new acquaintance for us here at Camelot, but he is one of the most remarkable young men that the freedom movement has come out of the freedom movement. He is Darren Nesbitt. Darren, welcome to Camelot.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Darren is the owner and editor and founder of The Light newspaper. The Light newspaper. And many of you, let's just hold that up a little bit more for our friends to see that. This is The Light newspaper. That's one edition. That's another. There we go. As many of you know, I've always been a great fan of local newspapers. Our family owns a group of local newspapers in London. And when I saw this newspaper, we now distribute this at Camelot Castle. It is a fantastic, fantastic, innovative, fresh, truthful, accurate, honest communication.
Keep going.
Well, it is. And we're joined by Oliver Page, who actually is a great opinion leader in Brighton, and Christine Rust. We're joined by, and somebody, well, you're from Manchester, aren't you? Or where are you?
I'm from Manchester,
You're from Manchester, so we've got somebody joining from Manchester.
Excellent. Morning, Linda.
Good. So, Darren, your story is remarkable. Perhaps let's just start at the beginning, and if you could just tell us, how is it that you have now, this is now one of the largest grassroots newspapers in England, isn't it? What is your readership at the moment?
It's hard to say what the readership is because the copies last for a long time.
Right.
People obviously...
And they pass them on.
Yeah, they either go in the bin or they get passed on to friends and family. So it's hard to say what our readership is. We're currently printing 250,000 copies every month, and they are distributed by an amazing network of volunteers who volunteer their space, their time, to network and relay with each other, to pass the papers around, to make it what it is. It's a genuine people-funded paper by the people for the people. There's no major backers. There's nobody telling us what to do, what to print, because the two do go hand in hand. So it entirely depends on the generosity, the desire for people to pitch in to get the word out, which is what we all want to do online. It grew out frustration. The Guardian piece last November was very accurate because it grew out frustration of being online and obviously of having everything censored and sandboxed. So the amount of, if you speak to somebody who's not awake, and they might be aware, I'm not doing the vaccine, I'm not doing the vaccine passports. They're aware the government are corrupt, but they can't quite see it. There is information that they don't know about, like Australia's locked down, like this is happening, that's happening, that all the deaths and what have you from vaccines. So it's actually quite easy to put the paper together because it's all the information that we know and share, but we know is censored from the mainstream. But obviously there's so much that goes into it now with so many contributors. And while I remember to say, if you are an artist or a writer or a poet or whatever it is, you want to help contribute the light, by all means get in touch with us via the website.
Well, and actually we do have a number of very creative people watching, but also we have a lot of people watching who are freedom lovers. They want to fight for their freedom. They want to draw a line in the sand. And I just want to talk a little bit about why pamphleteering or leafleteering or running a grassroots newspaper is so effective. Very few people realize this. The French Revolution began with pamphleteers. You can probably cite some other examples of where pamphleteers...
Yeah, the Chartists. But I think every great movement, people's movement for freedom, for better conditions, they've all been pamphleteers. And we started really the light from printing A5 flyers at first, 50,000, 100,000. We had a very generous printer who printed 1 million flyers for us last year for free. So the paper is just an expansion of that. It's like a collection of a lot of flyers, a lot of the either the agenda and propaganda that are being put out by the rulers and all their media channels. We're doing this because it's a really good thing to do. It's always the opposite. All you need to do is study pretty much any history book to find that out, and why people think it's different today. Maybe because they've got a smartphone in the hand and they've got access to all this information and technology and all these wonderful things that we can do, like eat, but the eating it's cooked for you somewhere else and then it's brought to your door. That's like the most amazing advance in technology people seem to think nowadays, but there's so much more. And what I really love what you guys do here at Camelot Castle, because it's all about bringing out people's creativity, bringing out people's potential. And I'm very big on that because as I told you, 3 years ago I was driving a van for Royal Mail. Now I've been a musician for a long time, songwriter, busker, what have you, but in terms of what was.
So I just want to repeat that. So you've gone. 2 years ago, you were a van driver for the Royal Mail.
Yeah.
And you now control one of the most powerful, in terms of truth that it's putting out, one of the most powerful media activities on planet Earth. And my thing is
without any planning.
Without any planning whatsoever. Yeah. See, I think this is one of the most exciting emergences that we've witnessed throughout this period of the world waking up. We are in the middle of there's a number of spirits out there that have woken up. In fact, I would ask a question to our viewers. How many of you out there consider that you have woken up at some point in the last 5 years? Is anybody watching that considers that they've woken up? And how many of you are actually already aware of the Light newspaper? I would like everybody to share this broadcast. I'd like everybody to share this broadcast. So you see Christine knows about this. Linda Edwards says, the only truthful newspaper I read, thank you for putting it out. So people are very aware of this. Now, one of the things that Darren is here to talk about, and one of the things we've been discussing, because I was fascinated by how you actually get the newspaper into people's hands. Because when you put out is there a charge for the paper, or is it a free paper?
No, the paper's free.
Paper's free. So
the paper's free. It's free to its final reader, if you like.
Right.
So I originally set up with the intention of having just a complete relay network all over the country, where the papers will be printed and then they'd be handed out and handed on and handed on and handed on. A little bit impractical to do that in the end. Once we started out at 20,000, and obviously with 10 times that amount, it's pretty much impossible. So we now deliver to around 20 warehouses around the country, and then people go to those and get those and what have you, pass them around. And there's two ways to do it. So we initially wanted to do it. Obviously, everybody could do it for free. Get your copies for free. That is still obviously possible. You come to our website. And click on distribute, become a distributor. You fill in a form and we'll send you a list of local hubs where you can obviously connect with people, which is another thing we want to do when we started the paper, is encourage local connections, local networks, local activities offline, where you actually know the person. You can go for a cup of tea or to the pub, or you meet at stand in the parks, etc, etc. I mean, the local thing's really taken off now, which is great. And you can also advance bulk order, because obviously we have to pay for the paper somehow. It's not cheap to produce and run it. So if you're a local group or you want to get one going or what have you, you can order 50 papers, 100 papers, 1,000 papers, however many you want. It's about 10p a copy, and they will be either delivered to your local hub or delivered direct to your door. So you can get involved both ways. Whether you've got money and time, whether you've got just time, whether you've got just money, you can help us out. Because at the end of the day, this is a war of information. It's a war of perception and a war of what people know. Whatever solution you want, whether it's let's start a new mass political party, let's all go down Downing Street with pointy sticks, let's all leave the system together, whichever solution you want always involves everybody knowing the information that we know first. So however we're going to do that, obviously we work online, we're still doing flyers, still doing stickers, the Rebels on roundabouts, you know what I mean, all this activity that we do, we should keep on doing it, keep expanding it, and obviously you know, we can use the light as a tool to help with all that as well.
And it is a very powerful tool, and what is extraordinary is just how far messages can reach each other, because of course when you put out the information in a physical form and people read it in a physical form, that doesn't stop them then communicating that online to their friends, does it?
Well, I can't remember which paper, but there was a great John Rappaport in America put out a little blog piece on the CDC admitting the C virus has not actually been isolated by freedom of information. We know that's true from various FOIs from all over the world. So we printed it in a little piece in the paper, and obviously people then photographed that or scanned it or what have you, then put it into you know, on the internet online and shared it around. And the establishment media were annoyed that obviously the paper gave it gravitas and authority because we'd actually gone to the effort of actually printing it. Of course, they didn't actually prove it wrong or say, you know, of course it's been isolated or anything else. They can never take the information that we produce and say this is why that's wrong. It's always an ad hominem attack, or you guilt by association, or all these logical fallacies, which is what they have to do, because if you're lying and you're giving out propaganda all the time, which is what the mainstream media do, they have to find other ways than just rebutting the truth, because you can't rebut the truth.
Michelle Welling says, do you run a dating page in it for the awake to meet friends and partners?
No, but on our website we do have an advertiser. I think we've used the paper as well, but datingforawake.com I think it's called. But if you go to our website, there is an awake dating site that does use our advertising services, which we're obviously always open to as well.
Yeah, and by the way, of course, Camelot Castle is filled with awake people, and very glamorous looking ones, some of them. And so you never know what happens if you come stay at Camelot. Now, what is this that you gave me this morning? This is a new venture of yours.
The free trade.
Yes.
Free trade site, free-trade.org. And this was set up this year simply to be a yellow pages for online businesses, for awake businesses. You don't have to be online at all, although most people are nowadays. So it's a yellow pages, it's an advanced, Gumtree type thing. And you can list all your trades, products, services, businesses, etc., for free. You don't pay anything through the site. Like I say, it's a yellow pages, it's a connection site. But obviously, it's promoted within the movement, so most of the businesses on here are awake. We only launched it a couple of months ago. There's already 1,100 members. We can already do, we're improving it all the time, obviously with more features, more things you can do, but the basics are there. And a lot of people are doing this with Facebook groups, with community aware trading, trading for truthers, etc., and they're all brilliant, and it's pretty much the same idea, but rather than having to go to Facebook, which can obviously end your site like that. It's on our own hosting. It's an independent website, and we'll never take it down, and we'll never charge you for it either. So free-trade.org. It's just another idea. It's actually an idea I had around the time I woke up. To have some kind of exchange, but I had no idea how we were going to do it, no method of doing it, and then this year it's actually become a reality as well, so it's definitely worth checking out. It's only available in the UK at the moment because obviously we've got limited resources. If there were all 500,000 people using this all over the world, it would cost an absolute fortune, so we've got to do it like everything, bit by bit, organically. There's no there's no Mr. Big backing us or anything. It's all by the people for the people.
So you're not secretly owned by Rupert Murdoch
or Jacob Rothschild,
no,
or anybody else,
No.
For us to come to here from where we live is an absolute, it's an honour, and it's extremely different for us,
Well, we just spoke on the phone a couple of weeks ago, didn't we? And
that's true, yeah.
And because I thought, who's behind this light business? And I just sent an email in on your form, and I was surprised to get a call back, actually.
Right.
Because normally you send in emails to companies and, could the person in charge give me a call or whatever? I can't remember what I said exactly. But could the editor give me a call? And then you called, and we had such a great conversation. And, I recognise, I've never really talked about this, but my media group began with me in Hollywood photocopying a piece of A4, and used to have a thing called Kinko copiers.
Yeah.
And I went down to Kinko, and I had $200 to my name, and I just mailed out various different silly news things, one of which concerned a new puppy that I had, to 200 friends in the mail. And I just thought, if one just broadens one's sphere of communication, it's going to be a good idea. The more people in life that are aware of your thoughts and your ideas, the better. And so that's where my media group actually began, was through pamphleteering and leafleteering. And then I became very fascinated by truth and accuracy in the media and the dangers of the fake news. And we put out a second leaflet called Tame, Truth and Accuracy in the Media. And somebody raised this with me the other day, and they said, John, you did that in 1991. And now today people are talking about fake news, and they reminded me of this. And what we actually did is we gave every journalist an accuracy rating, like a credit record.
Right.
And The Guardian went absolutely bananas in London. And, because we also kept Tame, the founders of it were kept anonymous. Well, the cat's out of the bag now, 30 years later. But it was, of course, wasn't really a possible thing. Oliver Page says, I'll distribute in Brighton. Just left my private number with the reception, John. Well, that is fantastic.
Thanks, Oliver.
Hi from Australia. Love your videos. Your Mandate song is sung over here at rallies.
Oh, that'll be the We Are the 99% song.
Really?
Which we're about to launch in December as a full recording, and we're gunning for a Christmas #1.
Really?
Because it's about getting the information out to as many places and as many corners as we possibly can. So, like I say, I'm a musician by trade. It'd be remiss of me to neglect that side.
Well, you brought your guitar. Are you going to give us a rendering of that? Or
we can do that shortly. Yes.
Yeah. All right. We'll if you stay on the line, we'll hear about that.
We can have a sing along.
We'll have a sing along
if you're not too hungover.
No, everybody here's a bit hungover, to be honest. We had a screening of Dracula last night, which of course was filmed.
Starring me.
Yeah. Well, no, it was a good evening, wasn't it? It was really, really fun, and all sorts of interesting characters here, and very, very fun. I think you met Jethro, didn't you? Our local comedian. Jethro was here, and of course Nigel Farage was here. We had a fantastic evening with him. And he loves Cornwall, of course, and there we go. So, let's say there's somebody out there, they're incredibly frustrated with the system. They don't have too much money, but they've maybe got a bit. What can they do to help? What could they do to help?
Well, in terms of the light paper, like I say, we have an advanced bulk ordering. So you can order anything from, you can buy 10 copies today of the current issue, and we'll get them sent out first class for you if you have a few friends and family. See, it's because it's different, and everything we have on the website is it's different. It's different for different people. Everybody's different. Has come through people's requests. So, like I say, we were just it was just a free distribution paper. Get some papers, give them out next. Then people wanted to advance order and pay for, so they guaranteed they got 500 copies or 100 copies or what have you for events, for different things. And then people didn't want like 50 copies, which is the minimum for an advance order, which is £10. We made it available for them to do 10. You can subscribe for 1 copy and get your own personal copy in the post. You can do a gift subscription. We can do it internationally, and then there's obviously also the contribution side as well in helping put the paper together. So again, every writer that we have, everybody that does art for us, apart from obviously from famously Bob Moran, whose permission we do have to use his art, but obviously he's recently been fired from the Telegraph, expressing himself and expressing the truth. We're living in crazy times. where you tell the truth and you're going to get pilloried for it. And this is the truth. I mean, it's not even 10% of the truth. And this is from back in May or June, perhaps. 40. I mean, it's up to over 1,700 deaths from these
medical suggestions,
these experimental trials, you got footballers drop healing and all sorts, and you're not allowed to say it, and everything's a euphemism, and we're not allowed to mention the word, otherwise it gets.
We say the V word. I'll be taken down. I mean, this may even be taken down, by the way, just by your presence here.
I am unpersoned.
Yeah,
and I'm a gobby northern busker at the end of the day with an opinion. So,
well, I'm a northerner. But the problem is with me, I came down south. Our family was originally from Sheffield. Far too long ago. And the problem with these Southerners, they've corrupted us, I'm afraid. But
we've got to the stage where you can't be yourself, you can't chat, you can't tell the truth, you can't do this, you can't do that. I've got to be careful of this, I've got to be careful of that. And it's asswipe, really. I mean, it's a load of old bollocks as far as I'm concerned, which again is why I wrote the song "Stick Your New World Order Up Your Arse." It's so that we can say.
Did you really?
Yes. It's so that we can.
Are we going to hear that one too?
Well, that's the one.
Oh, good.
That's the one. I mean, it's got two titles. When we bring it out, it's going to be called "We Are the 99%." So at least it's not got arse in the actual titles. Or it could be listed and written about.
I see.
In obviously terrible terms and what a terrible medical misinformation song and
yes.
It being a protest song, obviously. So, like I say, it's a crazy.
This is going to get me fucking banned.
It's a stupid, crazy world. It's a stupid, crazy world. Well, here's the thing, and we should rise up and say, I don't give a fuck. We should rise up and say, no, you can't have it. You're not having it. I'm not conforming myself. Stop conforming ourselves. Well, it's just a mask. Well, it's just a vaccine. I want to go on a holiday. That's all people have done. They don't think they're actually going to get better or they're going to save themselves or what have you. There are a few mad believers in the propaganda, but most people are aware now it's just nonsense. But I've got to go along with it. Well, what else are we going to go along with? You know what I mean? We're going to go along with the passports. We're going to go along with social credit and ID and all the rest of it, and increasingly higher food prices and less on your plate and all the rest of it, higher food, higher fuel. Life will get continually worse and worse, and say, mustn't grumble, what else can you do about it? We can all do something. We could just simply say no, you know what I mean, and rearrange your life and start to change your life in every possible way, so that when what you're putting out and what you're getting in is your choice all the time. So we don't have to go to McDonald's and we don't have to go to Tesco's and we don't have to go to, I'm not saying you can live without the corporate system, because they're nearly there where everything's corporatized. We're nearly there where it's getting almost impossible, unless you're a superb bushcraft frontiersman, to be able to live outside the corporate system. But there is a small window of opportunity before the gate closes. So now's the time. It's a race against time. Either we wake up and realise and everybody does whatever it is they want to do, which is extricate themselves from the system one way or another, or our children are going to be slaves forever. It's going to be a digital prison, and we can see it coming. It's not lunatic conspiracy theory. It's
well, did
right
you see
there
the pictures of Zuckerfucker with all of the people with the masks on, with this new Meta thing,
what's it called? The
Oculus
Prime.
And you see all these young people sitting there in a room with these masks on. Just unbelievable. Now, I just want to call out and sort of introduce you remotely. Hannah Cairns runs Cornwall Freedom Alliance.
Right.
And it's a huge Facebook group in Cornwall. They protest every weekend. She is the one that introduced the Light newspaper to me.
Wonderful.
And brought it to my attention and brought copies to Camelot. She's definitely somebody that can help expand the hub in Cornwall.
Right.
I also, we have a lot of viewers here now from the United States, and I know that Camelot TV is very popular in the United States. Some of those viewers are major philanthropists. Now, I know that, and if you'll excuse me, Darren, I'm just going to be a little bit over the top here. I know that if you're a philanthropist out there, you're always being pitched for money. And if you're giving money away, which a lot of people do in America, the one thing you want is you want to bang for your buck. You want to know that if you're giving $1 to a charity, or you're giving $1 to a church, if you're giving $1 to whoever you're giving that dollar to, you want to make sure, unless you're an idiot, that that dollar is actually delivering the result that you are upset about. And of course, one of the reasons philanthropists donate is because that perhaps they're not willing to do the campaigning, but they can help find the energy and supply the energy for somebody that is willing to do the campaigning. And anybody out there that runs a major philanthropic portfolio, if you wanted, or if you ever had the thought that I would really like to flow some energy towards somebody that was the genuine article, that is the real McCoy, that is a man of God doing God's work, then you could not have found a better place and a better person to invest your resources in than in Darren. We sat down yesterday and we had a conversation. We went over the jumps and we spoke for about 2 hours, didn't we? And you know what? He is a remarkable, remarkable human being. And you know what? A lot of charities that you give money to, frankly, I'll be straight with you, they waste your money. They do waste your money. They spend an awful lot in administration. I can tell you that this operation that Darren is running, it's remarkable that it's done that there is not wastage going on here. And listen, there are no guarantees in life, and I'm not going to sit here and guarantee my life on this, but I would be extremely surprised if you chose to make a donation to the light and to help expand it. I'd be extremely surprised if Darren was to abuse the trust that you would be putting in him. And what I'd like to see is in England, I'd like to see the light 10 times bigger. I'd like to see this 10x'd, 10 times bigger. And in the world, I think the light can go global. I really genuinely do, because I think grassroots, Mark Zuckerfucker may think that the solution to life, is to have everybody behind an Oculus screen and invite us all into the bloody metaverse, where we can float around with bloody goldfish swimming through forests or whatever.
They can stick that up their arse.
They can stick that up their arse, can't they? I mean, honestly speaking, that is not how the Creator designed life to be. That is an abomination of life. And what is so beautiful about this situation is, I said, well, did you have a big online presence? No, not really. We've got a few thousand followers online. Do you do Twitter? No, not really. We don't really do Twitter. No, what we do is we leaflet. We basically get the paper out. And you see, it's this back to basics, back to simplicity, and the ripple effect that this can have. The light is being read by presidents. It is being read by prime ministers. It is being read by their advisors. And I can assure you that this man's star is going to continue to rise. It has risen. And so you know what? Donate. If you have the opportunity, if somebody receives this communication, donate till it hurts. It should hurt a bit. A sensible donation should hurt a bit. And it's like when my wife goes on a revenge shopping trip, She says, don't worry, darling, it should hurt you a bit. I'm not saying go overboard, but what I'm saying is, you see, look at this. Hannah Can says, one of the Light's amazing writer, Lewis Small, is in Plymouth and spoke at Camelot a couple of weeks ago. Well, that's right. And, that was a fantastic event that we had.
Louise is amazing, as is their partner, James, as well. I met them both at, obviously I've known Louise a little while, but I met them both at the Glastonbury Town Centre protest late last year. A lot of fun. And it's the thing with the paper brings me into contact with so many amazing people. It's I had no intention or no dream of ever doing it, but since doing it, it's been a bit of a dream job. You get to meet and travel and do really, really useful work. It's getting up every day and doing something really useful for the world as a job is extremely satisfying. It's extremely gratifying.
Well, it's amazing who came out of what I call the local or regional paper thing. Dickens came out of it, and all of his work to expose the slums, if you remember, things like Oliver Twist and that writing, well, that came out of his days working on the local newspaper. Right. A lot of major politicians, Winston Churchill came out of local writing, he wrote for local papers. Right. So it's amazing the role that and what's so interesting is that our local papers in England got bought up by two huge corporations. I think one's from Canada and one's in America, and then they've just closed them down. So this is a sundering of the communication with people. And, what you're doing is you're re-injecting life and putting back the traditional communication lines. I even like that you pick up the newspaper and you read it, and you know what? The print comes off on your hands a little bit, and that's what a newspaper should be like. There's a sort of a tangibility to it. There's a life energy that flows through the paper, and when you combine that with truth, it's such a beautiful, beautiful dream. And I'm just so pleased that we had the opportunity to meet. And as I say, and I'm gonna ask anybody out there, I'm gonna look straight at the camera wherever it is. If there's a big donor out there that wants a really, really fun and big game to play, please contact Darren directly. You don't need to come through me. Just contact Darren directly, and you won't be disappointed, and your money will be doing something that is completely aligned with the purposes and goals of the Creator and of life itself, because we have to get the truth into people's hands. And this is a way of bypassing all the social media censorship. Okay, we've got Trump, he's doing his Truth Social. That's good. Yeah. Let's see if they get that up and running. The SPAC looks good in New York, and that's all very exciting. But I tell you something, newspapers still have a tremendous, tremendous power. And you've put in place a foundation here. And there's already the network. So James Bell says, look, such a strong paper. Darren is an amazing dude and works very hard. Well,
thanks, James.
I can second that, and this is a very, very special moment, and I'm hoping that something magical is going to come out of your visit here to Camelot, and we'll see what happens. There's no guarantees.
No, there isn't.
But should somebody wish to contact you, what is the best way? Just through the website? What is the website?
Yeah, the light paper at protonmail.com or news@thelightpaper.co.uk. All our contacts are listed in the print version and online as well. There's forms to fill in online, but the light paper at protonmail.com will get to me as well.
Very, very good. That's marvellous. Now, I think we're owed a song.
Do you want to hear a tune?
I do, yeah.
So, presumably you haven't heard all of this.
I haven't.
So we'll see a genuine reaction to my now infamous song. Other songs are available, by the way. You can stick your new world order up your arse. You can stick your new world order up your arse. You can stick your new world order where the sun don't shine with water. Stick your new world order up your arse. Singing we are the 99%. Singing we are the 99%. Singing we are the 90. Together we are mighty. We are the 99%. The Queen will be arrested in her dressing gown. The Queen will be arrested in her dressing gown. The Queen will be arrested in her, 'cause she is such a sinner. She'll be arrested in her dressing gown. You can stick your corporation up your arse. You can stick your corporation up your arse. You can stick your corporation, we're a free and sovereign nation. Stick your corporation up your arse. Singing we are the 99%. Singing we are the 99%. Singing we are the 90. Together we are mighty. We are the 99%. So hang on, you've heard a bit before then?
No, I'm just going along.
There'll be blue skies when the chemtrails are all gone. There'll be blue skies when the chemtrails are all gone. There'll be blue skies when the chemtrails and their evil plan fails. Blue skies when the chemtrails are all gone. You can stick your mainstream media up your arse. You can stick your mainstream media up your arse. You can stick your mainstream media, cause the people we don't need ya. Stick your mainstream media up your arse. Singing we are the 99%. Singing we are the 99%. Singing we are the 90. Together we are mighty. We are the 99%.
Wow. That is fantastic.
Oh, I'd rather be a human than a slave. Oh, I'd rather be a human than a slave. Oh, I'd rather be a human. And don't you know that you can rather be a human than a slave. Singing we are the 99%. Singing we are the 99%. Singing we are the 90. Together we are mighty. We are the 99%. Last verse, sing the first. You can stick your new world order up your arse. You can stick your new world order up your arse. You can stick your new world order where the sun don't shine with water. Stick your new world order up your arse. I'll give you a high five for that effort.
Well, you know what? That was a first. It's definitely going to get us banned. But you know what? If this is our last fucking show on Facebook, it's fucking worth it. What can I say? I'd ask before we get banned, subscribe to our Telegram channel, because this is probably the last you'll hear from us on YouTube. This is probably the last you'll hear from us on Facebook. But you know what, Darren?
I didn't even do the.
We got out with a bang.
I didn't even do the worst verses. That got us banned from the studio when we were recording that. By the way, there's a whole. I mean, we talk for hours, but we're releasing.
But have you recorded?
We're releasing it on December the 6th. So
is that enough lead time?
We're gunning for a Christmas number one, as it were.
Is that the time to release a Christmas number one?
If it happens, it happens. I have no idea. It gives it a couple of weeks, so it'll be a genuine number one rather than because people will like it and hear it and share it and what have you. It's entirely up to other people. I was nagged all last year to put it out, so this year we decided to do it. It's got some. It sounds absolutely great. Well,
my friend Bryson Gray has got the number one on iTunes now with Let's Go Brandon.
Yes, so I believe.
So we interviewed Bryson Gray. So it's actually lucky. So coming on here, Camelot TV, this could bring you the luck. Boost. You see, this could bring you the boost. So do everybody share this, and also because we will probably get banned after this broadcast, please. On the screen here, you can see our Telegram channel. Please all subscribe to that, because that's where you get. I can put the meat and potatoes out on that, which is marvelous. Is there a final message that you would like to give to your followers and to your friends out there and to our viewers?
It's really hard to sum up, a million different thoughts and energies and forces and ideas in one sentence.
No, you don't have one sentence. You can.
You know what I'm saying.
You can riff.
Yeah, but we've been doing that for the last 2 days, really.
Yeah.
Support us, I suppose. If you think what we're doing is valuable, carry on supporting us. We really appreciate everything everybody already does. This is a genuine fight, but it's as far as I'm concerned, it's a war of information. So the more people that can know what we know, the more chance, obviously it's going to end, because you refuse to comply because of what you know, what you can see. The veil's been lifted. You can't wake somebody up by grabbing them and shaking them, but you might be able to with a fun song or a light paper or the odd message or a leaflet or did you know or what have you. There's many battles to come. The war's a long one. We've still got free range slavery, so we can still kind of travel all over. We can certainly travel all over the country. We can still do things, but obviously these things are going to reduce and get worse over time. So we do have a little time. We do have to act like it's urgent, because we've only just realised that the war is here, and they've been terrorising us for centuries, putting everything in place. So always use cash. Always use cash. Try and ditch the smartphone, and just basically create a natural offline life and connections as much as possible. Get out of the digital matrix, because that's where they want us. Once everything's digitised, they've got you. They can. We know they can switch off your digital wallet, because that's where it ends up. So it's all about sharing information. Thank you very much to John for giving us the time.
Well, it's lovely to have you here, and it's also nice to meet your family. And what can I say? Godspeed. You're a wonderful man, and for anybody out there that would like to help, please do. Please do. It's a good purpose, a good goal, and I think we can win this.
I know we'll win it. I'm completely 100% confident, which is what gives me the energy and drive and optimism, I suppose. I'm 100% certain that we will win. But you don't see me sitting back and waiting for that to happen, because it only happens because we've got the work. We have the work to do, and then it's a case of going and doing it.
Will you just say that again? Because I had an emotional moment there when you said you're 100% certain that we're going to win.
Yeah.
Just tell our audience that again, because I think they need to hear that.
I'm 100% certain that we're going to win this.
That's really special. Thank you. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. Nice to see you all.
See you again.